Linkin Park recently announced their reunion and introduced their new singer, Emily Armstrong. They revealed a new song called The Emptiness Machine and announced their upcoming album, From Zero, which is releasing in November. They also just kicked off their world tour. They played shows in LA and New York City. They're heading over to Europe now to perform there as well. But this has been far from a smooth rollout for Linkin Park, as members of Chester's family, including his son, and now his mom, are speaking out against this comeback, expressing their concerns. So Chester's mom, in a new interview with Rolling Stone, says she feels betrayed by Linkin Park's decision to reunite. Of course, there have been a lot of questions about Emily Armstrong's connection to Scientology, as she was said to be in attendance at an early hearing for convicted rapist Danny Masterson. Now, she released a statement clarifying her position on all of that, but she also didn't really say anything about Scientology. This is the statement that she released at the time. She wrote, "Hi, I'm Emily. I'm new to so many of you, and I wanted to clear the air about something that happened a while back. Several years ago, I was asked to support someone I considered a friend at a court appearance, and went to an early hearing as an observer. Soon after, I realized I shouldn't have. I always try to see the good in people, and I misjudged him. I've never spoken with him since. Unimaginable details emerged, and he was later found guilty. To say it as clearly as possible, I do not condone abuse or violence against women, and I empathize with the victims of these crimes." And so with all of that happening, you had Chester's son, Jamie, coming out and saying that he was very unhappy about how things had been going as well. He felt as though the band was trying to erase his father's legacy. And recently, he's also pointed out that he said that Linkin Park didn't even mention his father at their recent show in New York. And, you know, if you look at, let's say, the Pantera shows that they've been doing, and if you look at how they have Dimebag in their set and they've got Vinnie Paul in their set, they really have a beautiful tribute during the performances. They play old footage and all of that. And, you know, while I'm not saying that Linkin Park is not, you know, honoring Chester's legacy, it's not, they don't have like a big segment of their show or anything that's devoted to Chester or anything. And, you know, for Jamie, for his part, he's saying they didn't even mention him at the show at New York, according to him. Now, this is what he had to say. He claims that he's not even able to talk to Mike Shinoda. He did attend their shows recently, but this is what he said in a post about all of this. He wrote, "Hey, Mike. People aren't having a difficult time wrapping their head around the prospect of Linkin Park reinventing itself. They're having a hard time wrapping their head around how you hired your friend of many years, Emily Armstrong, to replace Chester, knowing Emily's history in the church, and her history as an ally to Danny Masterson is what it is. Quietly erased my father's life and legacy in real time, not only during band interviews, meant to clear the air about certain aspects of Linkin Park's history and future, but during International Suicide Prevention Month. I'd mention you, but you restricted my interactions with you because you don't like what I have to say. So this will have to do." And so up to this point, Jamie Bennington had been the only person who had been speaking out on this until what we have now, which is Chester Bennington's mom has given an interview to Rolling Stone where she is now speaking against this reunion. It's kind of a heartbreaking read. You can really tell that she is still feeling the pain of losing her son. Very, very heartbreaking. And she is saying that she feels betrayed. And she says that they had told her that if they were ever going to do anything, they would reach out to her and speak to her about it first. She says she hasn't even heard anything from the band and feels betrayed by all of this. Here's what she had to say in that interview with Rolling Stone, which you can read the entire interview at the link in the description. In an exclusive statement to Rolling Stone, Chester Bennington's mom, Susan Eubanks, revealed she feels betrayed. She told them, "I feel betrayed. They told me that if they were ever going to do something, they would let me know. They didn't let me know. And they probably knew that I wasn't going to be very happy. I'm very upset about it. I feel like they're trying very hard to erase the past. They're performing songs that Chester sang. And I don't know how the fans are taking it, but I know how I take it. And having Armstrong singing my son's songs is hurtful. They said they would let the family know if they were going to reunite. They did not. Chester's first wife, Samantha, and son, Draven, didn't know until it was told to the world. It was the same for me. and it hurt. I have seen Joe Hahn a few times since Chester died. The last time was maybe 4-5 years ago, and he promised that he would let me know what was going on, and he didn't have any intention of starting the band back up. And I saw Mike Shinoda about 2 years ago. He promised to tell the family what was going on, and he did reach out when they were going to release some songs with Chester that they had that were new. He let Samantha and Draven know, and then Samantha let me know. He tried very hard to recreate a relationship with Samantha. She was willing to do that. They didn't talk about Chester's death. They talked about Chester's life. And that was very important, that she would call me and let me know what they talked about. How's he doing? How's his family doing? It was all of us. She told him that she has regular conversations with me and Draven as well, and that if he wanted to tell her something, she would be sure to tell me. And he said, okay. I found out about Emily Armstrong joining the band on Google. When I go to Google to look for something, the first thing that often pops up is Linkin Park. And I saw that whole thing of, we have an announcement. That whole week, they were at the top of if you enter anything into Google. I actually thought maybe the band was going back out, but that Mike would be the singer. Chester did teach Mike how to sing. He sang a song on 2017's One More Light that I thought was beautiful until Chester died. Then I couldn't listen to it anymore. I thought if they would go back out, it would just be the band, not adding a singer. I tuned into the live stream when it happened, not on purpose. I thought her singing, I didn't even remember what it was she was singing because I didn't want to hear it. It was just a moment, but it was her. I'm just going to say it, screeching her way through a very high note, and I got out of there as fast as I could. I cried. Mike told Chester one time that he thought singing these songs would be better with a girl because he often put Chester down. And Chester called me and said, he thinks that they're going to replace me with a girl. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, Mike told him at rehearsal that if you decide you're leaving, we're going to replace you with a girl. And Chester was dumbfounded and hurt. And the fact is that they did it. So of course, all that comes right back into my mind, I had to talk with my son about this. I didn't think they'd probably do it. Like I said, I thought Mike would go out and sing the songs and they just wouldn't sound the same. They wouldn't be as high or as loud and it would be very different. And I would have been okay with that. But I'm not okay with this. To have somebody replace him and try to do what he did. I don't think that there's anybody in the world that has the same voice. And when I heard that, I was just so repelled by that. No, they're trying to do exactly what Chester did. But they're not succeeding at it. If I could tell the band members anything, it's that I feel betrayed. You made a promise to me that you would let us know, and you did it. If you were going to do this, this is the wrong way to do it. Don't put her out there to sing Chester's songs and then act like this was always the way it should have been. It's like making him go away, erasing the past. You don't have to worry about going through the old songs and finding new ones, new Chester songs to put out. Now you can just put out new songs, but don't bother to put out Chester's songs with Emily singing them. Wow. I'm honestly shocked. That's the first time I've read that. And to hear Chester's mom and the pain and what she's saying, having lost her son, going through that, that's a heartbreaking read. And for her to, some of the things she said in there are very surprising to me. She's claiming that Chester told her that him and Mike, that Mike was putting him down, that he had said that he was going to replace him with the singer. There's just a lot of very surprising things that she's saying there in Rolling Stone. And so very, very interesting to see if the band is going to have any sort of response to this, where there are now multiple members of Chester's family speaking in opposition of this Linkin Park reunion. And there are numerous factors to this, not just that there are some members of the family who are unhappy, but also that you have the Danny Masterson component to all of this. And, when you look at some of the interviews that Linkin Park has done, it's been all very, big interviews, corporate stuff where you have, they were on with Jimmy Fallon and, I thought it was a good interview. There was some very heartfelt moments in that, but it seems like it's going to be really hard for this band to just put things all out there on the table and speak at length at any time now. You haven't really seen them in long form out in like a podcast setting because there's so much that it doesn't seem like that they're really willing to discuss. And so, and that's not any sort of, I think it's a tough situation that they're in right now because I don't actually think that Linkin Park shouldn't be able to reunite. I don't think that Emily Armstrong is not a good singer. I think she has done a good job. Obviously Chester's mom is saying there she didn't like her performance. I think The Emptiness Machine is a catchy song, but, I think there is something to be said about if you lose a vocalist, even if they're as prolific and as iconic as Chester, of course, was and is, and so dearly missed in rock, does this mean the band can never come back? No, I don't think so. But I also think you do need to hear what these family members who are obviously still hurting, and this brings up this brings up so much for them. I am shocked that they did not reach out to Chester's mom, who lost her son and is devastated by that. And they didn't reach out, and now she's coming out through Rolling Stone. So that's a tough one, and it's just very unfortunate. That's a very sad read, and my heart goes out to her, and I know that she's hurting from the loss of her son, but she's speaking how she feels, and this is just very, very shocking, and I did not see this coming. And as always, y'all, let me know what you think in the comments down below. That's your latest update here from Rockfeed. Be sure to subscribe with notifications on for the latest news and updates.